every mother is like, should I take a sabbatical? Many of them are doctors, like Ph.D. Like, everyone has worked hard to reach where they are in life, and then to take a break is not easy. It's difficult. So today we have Dr. Haseena Saran with us, and she has her PhD in applied maths. She's a parent of two lovely kids, Ahan and Aira, and I'm thankful that she's ready to have, and she's willing to give this time to discuss about Ahan. Hi, Haseena.
Hey,
Welcome.
Dr. Thank you so much. This is such a topic close to my heart, right? So I'm more than happy, for you to give me this opportunity. Thank you for that.
Mm. And I remember, every time we had a goal meeting, or we used to discuss, okay, what are the goals for Ahan? I mean, every parent used to meet me, but yours was like, I would get a detailed email where you would specify, this is what he's learned, this is what he can do. So you could always focus on what has gotten better. Like, what motivated you? I mean, I see every parent wants to do it. Everybody is disciplined, they follow, but you are following therapy at home consistently. You were, like, I thought, okay, it's one of the months that this parent is sending me such a detailed thing, where it never stopped. It continued every month. It was that detailed. So what kept you so motivated? Like, I was really inspired, really.
Okay, those are really some kind words. I think part of it was how I was raised and my background, with how I achieve things in life and my studies and everything, right? Growing up, I was not, I mean, don't have Einstein's IQ, right? So we have to work hard. And for me, it was very, very important to study hard and get a good job. It was one of my main goals of life, to study. So there, I think what I learned is there's no shortcuts, right? You have to be systematic, you have to be disciplined. So I think through my studies is when I kind of learned that I have to be disciplined and some things are just I think by the way you're raised you become that very detailed oriented and whatever makes gives you clarity, right? I need to write down everything. I need to uh, put things in an organized manner on paper. It's only then when I get my clarity, and I am extremely structured person, so I need that structure, for my own clarity and for me also to communicate with the others. So I think mainly my background of how I was raised, and then I went to US for my higher studies and I got a PhD. So to reach there, you have to be systematic, you have to be consistent, to get that output that you want, right? So it kind of became very natural to me. It wasn't that I had to put an extra effort or think that okay I have to do this, but that was just my a nurtured learned way to achieve the things that I want, so it kind of was a learned ability, I think, which kind of worked for me always to get what I want, so it just became natural. I didn't really have to like prepare and think too much, to do that. Yeah.
So having said that, you have your PhD in maths, applied maths,
Yeah.
and you had to go through this entire schooling and college and post graduation, and then so you went through all of it. But when I used to discuss with you, like, I really want to understand, like, whenever we used to discuss, you used to be very clear. Yeah, I'm sending him to a school. I want him to learn. If he doesn't cope with academics, it's okay. I'm fine. I'll teach him. Like, what gave you that much confidence? Because you feel, I mean, when you say, oh, studies is important, but your learning is important. So how did that shift kind of happen? Because you were not that kind. Every parent would come to me and like, oh my God, he has to sit in the class. Oh my God, he has to write, he has to read. But you were never bothered. You were like, yeah, he'll learn concepts. He'll do it. You somehow believed in his abilities even before they were not expressed. You know what I'm saying? So I would love to understand that.
Mhm. Um, so that again is a very deep principle or ideology that I have. I feel that it's not only for our kids, right? For anyone, to be able to perform at their maximum potential, they need to be in a nurturing environment, and unless the person is confident and they know their abilities and their strengths, right? They will go nowhere, they, unless they realize that strength themselves, they will not be able to perform at their best, right? So that was one uh, principle that I very strongly believe in. And second is, I always believe that if a person is strong enough, mentally, physically, and cognitively, they can learn things at any point of time, learning alphabets, or numbers or calculations. These are all things, when someone is strong, when their foundations are strong, right? They can understand the environment, they can connect to the environment, their behaviors are regulated, they are able to perform at their maximum potential. Then, acquiring these other skills and concepts are much easier. So with that thought in mind, right, for me, it didn't matter at all, that Ahan was not learning things in school. He couldn't form sentences, or it didn't bother me, because for me the whole focus was make Ahan stronger as a person, get rid of his helping him, to cope with the environment, be, comfortable in the environment, understand the environment, be happy being somewhere, right? That was always my focus. And I felt that without that, how much ever you try to teach him or do anything, he's never going to be happy, or he cannot, perform at his fullest potential. I think so that with that very basic guiding principle, right? I could keep focus on the more important things, like setting up his foundation. And it's not that I didn't get distracted, right? I mean, there were times when I was like, oh my God, he doesn't know anything. Should I, go back? I mean, we always have these thoughts. But, coming back to what is important for that child at that point in life, right, is very crucial, I think. We cannot focus on things because the rest of the world is focusing on certain things for their children. We always have to focus on your child as an individual. Look at, how, what are their strengths, and help them, nurture them, accordingly. So we have to completely disconnect them from the rest of the world in the sense of, our expectations.
So how is he now in school? What grade is he in? Like what is he learning? Like whatever the challenges were, did they continue or did they kind of, get better? Like how was it later?
Yeah, so now he's in grade 8. He's going to turn 15, but he's 2 years younger to his class, and he goes to a school which has a very dialed down curriculum, and a smaller class setting. It's an offshoot of a mainstream school, but a special wing. I wouldn't say that the challenges have stopped, and he's doing everything okay, right? And he's independent. At every stage, the challenges become different, and we have to kind of figure out what are those challenges, and again, uh, according to his level, modify our expectations and just support and nurture him in that sense. So now his ability to understand the concepts is again still not mature enough, even though he's 15, that whatever is taught in class, he easily understands. I need to like totally break it down, write things in a very simplistic way, help him make the connect to something that he's always already familiar with, and then still break it down to him, all these concepts, and explain to him the academic part. It's not that he goes to class, learns everything, and comes. I still have to do that. But other things, right, like being able to like independently travel by bus, follow, get ready by himself, pack his bags, follow the schedules, and all those extra things he's very independently able to do, right? So again, we talked about the foundation being strong, right? Now at 15, if I had to still deal with his behaviors, or him not being able to travel by bus, or not being able to sit with his friends and eat food, like, without, getting stressed. I couldn't focus on his academics, right? I mean, I would still be dealing with these other behaviors, and Ahan wouldn't be happy going to school. It would be
Mm.
such a stressful task for him too, right? So, because those things are all quite, managed, I can. The only time I need to spend now on him is to make him actually understand these concepts, break it down, and he's also at a level where he kind of understands that he needs to put in that extra effort. So I don't have to tell him, Ahan, come sit and study with me. He understands that, okay, I need to study this. Let me sit with mama. So he himself comes, sits with me, gives that time. So his everything else is managed. All the other components. So the only thing I have to focus on is academics.
Was it
As
always this easy? Was it always this easy?
No, not at all, right? Which is why I want to stress that getting the foundation right, helping the child manage their anxiety, their behaviors, their sensory processing, difficulties, helping them, to connect with the environment and knowing, right? Okay, I am now hungry. I am now thirsty. I need to go fetch water from there. Go find food in the fridge. If mama is busy, go get an apple and eat. This simple functioning, right, which probably comes very naturally to any other kid, right? Like Aira, I don't have to worry about her at all, right? She's 3 years younger to Ahan, but I really don't have to worry about her at all. But with Ahan, these things I had to kind of put him in environments where he could learn, and I had to focus on those aspects of making him very independent in that sense, to be
Mm.
able to fend to his own needs,
Mm.
because of which now I'm able to focus on the academics part of it. I don't have to worry about the other aspects. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
which is why
You
at every level, every stage, the challenges change. Right now, he's also entering into the teenage phase. So now maybe some new challenges will come up. So I am kind of getting mentally ready, talking to parents who have gone through that phase to also prepare myself. How to deal with that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I remember when he was younger and when you used to get him for therapy, you had taken a sabbatical from work and you were not working. So to be so qualified and still take a sabbatical, was that easy for you?
No, not at all. And I'm the kind of person who needs to work. I get my energy working and finishing something, and feeling that I'm useful, and I've achieved something, and that's what gives me energy for all my other things. And I was doing work related to research. It was not just regular coding job, I was, and I'd worked so hard for it, right? And growing up, my parents never talked about, okay, Haseena, you'll get married, blah, blah, blah. It was always about, you will, what is it that you want to achieve professionally, career wise. So those were the conversations that I had as growing up. So even thinking about not working was very, something that probably I would have never thought. But when Ahan was diagnosed, again, I strongly believe that if I didn't spend that 4 years with him, giving him the full attention, he would have a very difficult adult life. I could also see that very clearly, So I think that um, part, and right, how the mother instincts take over, Dr. Reena. So at that point of time, because I was qualified, everything, I somehow had the confidence that I can get back to work. Might not be so. I very strongly believe that if I don't do this to Ahan might have a very adult life. So that feeling took over my want to work. That kind of helped me decide on taking the sabbatical. But even once you take sabbatical, you keep having those feelings, right? Oh my God, I'm not working. I'm spending all the time with the kids, etc., etc. So there, getting into running and outdoor activities totally changed my mindset. running is something, I was not a sports person as a kid, right? So I was always a nerd, always studying. Running was something I picked up because when my kids were very small, like Ahan was like 4 and Aira was 1, I would take them, much younger also, I think. Ahan was 3.5 and Aira was 6. I would take them to the park, and I couldn't manage 2 kids alone by myself, because I became extremely unfit after I delivered Aira. And I was like, oh my god, this is not good. And when I came to your place, I learned that, initially my understanding was that we need to develop the mind and that would control the body. But then through your having conversations with you and understanding the different therapies that you did, I realized that it's the other way around. The body movements kind of develop these connections in the brain, and then that helps you to control the body a bit more, and it's kind of a cyclical process, right? So that kind of think of me as running not just an activity to lose weight and become fit, but it's much more than that, right? It also develops a lot of connections in your mind and a lot of other things. And for me, running and doing half marathon gave me an immense confidence, that something I had no clue about, never thought about, I could do it, so that made me feel very powerful. And this is something I achieved by myself, right? No one can train and give me this is something that I have to put in effort. I have to do it and I achieve it. So that gave me a very strong sense of confidence in what I could do and what I could achieve, um, so, I kind of, I think, went all over the place.
No, no, no.
But
But I think so. I get it that it was difficult for you to take that decision while you were in that zone of sabbatical. It was very difficult, and so you started running,
yeah,
because
yeah,
most of the times, most parents that I work with, and not everybody, but many of them are on medications. They are gaining weight. Eating is a way to calm down anxiety, or binge watching, whatever. But you started running. I remember a lot of your posts where you were like running, 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 and
I
oh,
was
these many
actually,
kilometers.
Ahan was in therapy with, your staff, and during those breaks, I would go around your Shere Punjab, run and come back,
I
so
remember that, yeah. And so
yeah,
I was like, everyone else out there is sitting and talking, and how is she, so like, you need to be different to do these kinds of activities.
yeah.
It's so easy to just sit and to crib and to complain, but to pull yourself out of it and to do this requires a lot of courage. And I think that's why Ahan is where he is, because you were systematic, you were running, you were taking care of yourself, and that break of 4 years is not a joke. Because after those 4 years to return back, a lot of parents who've taken a break, they who were into coding or something, they go back and they're like, I am working at someone who was my junior. Like, I'm working under somebody who was my junior, and it's not a very
Yeah.
happy thing. But they said no, but it's worth it because we did give our time to our kids. So, did something of that sort happen when you went back to working? How easy or
Yeah,
difficult it
yeah,
was?
totally right. I mean, even if now, do I regret those 4 years? Absolutely not. I mean, I think that's the best thing as a mom I could give to my child, I think, and because of that time with Ahan, and I could dedicate my time totally to therapies and these research, and even connecting with other parents and therapists, and I was able to create that foundation, that network, of parents, therapists who are still a big part of our lives, right? And that has, and for our kids, or for any kid for that matter, having developing that nurturing environment, creating that environment where they thrive is one of the most important, right? And for me to completely take break from work and having that time completely to dedicate on the kids, I think helped me to just also understand this whole world of autism much better. Also helped me, to kind of keep changing things or trying out new things, and it just gave me that flexibility, to totally focus on Ahan, without having to worry about the work and job and other things. So totally, I would never regret, doing that. Going back to work again, I went back to work only when I felt confident that I could, go back, having a bit of a sustainable environment, around Ahan, the schooling, where I trusted, that he would be taken care of. Not only him, even Aira. Having environment at home, I had my parents' support, till the time I could manage the kids independently. My parents were always there at home, to give me that additional support. Also, financially, Ahan's father was supporting some parts financially also, right, when I was not working. So, yeah, so all this entire setup, the environment, I think, kind of helped me to uh, make use of those 4 years very effectively, and then slowly transition back to work. And always, right, I always tell people that if you have to invest in something, invest on yourself, right? So uh, my education, how, always I try to keep myself mentally, physically fit. So that also helped me to get back to work very quickly, because of my educational background. And also this whole experience with autism and dealing with this new challenge, right? When I went back to work, it became a strength. People would people who interviewed me would love to hear about how I face those challenges, and how I have more clarity now, on what is important, how to manage so many things at the same time, right? So actually, the things that I learned, the non-technical part, over the 4 years, kind of helped me as a person, like, to
Evolve.
grow and evolve, and be in a, yeah, more controlled state of mind, and yeah, so yeah.
Wow. Because this what you're saying, so all of them who are listening would be very, because the first question that every mother, because see, fathers don't have to, they work, you know what I mean? But every mother is like, should I take a sabbatical? Many of them are doctors, like PhD, like everyone has worked hard to reach where they are in life, and then to take a break is not easy, it's difficult. But then this satisfaction and this fulfillment is worth it, because it's otherwise you're taking care of your child the full life, because you've not given them those skills that they would need when they're developing.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is really, really helpful. Before you go, I wanted to check, have you checked my app? It has a 14-day free trial period. You get access to daily insights from me. You get my audiobooks, and you get all my master classes, my recorded courses, everything in one app. It has 3 levels of membership. But do try it for those first 14 days when it is free. I just want you to make the most of it and empower yourself so that you can help your child with more clarity. Thank you.